I'm Danny. I am a junior at Whitney Prep. Yeah.
I'm Ray. I am a sophomore, and I started this podcast.
Hi, I'm Mr. Clark, and I am an English teacher here at Whitney Prep. And when I'm not here at Whitney Prep doing English teaching, I also work for a small company that produces content for Dungeons and Dragons.
Very cool. Very cool.
Do you have a favorite student?
Do I have a favorite student? I think technically the answer is no, I don't, because I have lots of favorite students.
What are your top 3 favorite students?
Oh,
don't have to
top
say their
3
name.
favorites.
Yeah, just-
I don't think I can answer that. I can't rank them. I have a lot of students that I like quite a lot here.
Okay,
They're
that's
very
great.
cool. We got a lot of cool students. What can I say?
Heck yeah.
But it's Haley.
Oh yeah, he's not denying it.
There we are.
Haley.
When did you decide to be a teacher?
Oh gosh. So when I was in high school, I wanted to be a psychologist, but when I was there, I also always had the thought that if I ended up not liking psychology very much, I would want to be a teacher instead. And I actually ended up changing from a psychology major in college to a theater major in college with the idea that if I didn't like theater very much, I would go into education. And finally, all the way along after multiple years at Sierra College, I realized that what I had wanted to do all along was teach, and all of the other stuff had just been like side interests or
Right.
related to kind of my overall desire to do teaching and education. So it must have been, probably my sophomore, junior year of high school that I really started thinking about like teaching as an option. But I didn't get into it full on until my sophomore year of college.
Oh wow, that's really cool.
That's awesome. Okay, let's see. Do you have any like fun stories about like your teaching experience here? I know you haven't been teaching here like as long.
I've had 4 years.
Yeah.
Gosh, fun stories at Whitney Prep.
Any crazy or wild stories?
Yeah. Let's see. I gotta think about that for a second.
I mean, crazy things happen here all the time.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
true. We
Yeah.
we are
Like,
goofy
what's
and
like
wild
your like
sometimes.
craziest story?
My craziest story
Yeah.
for Whitney? See, that's the thing. My calibration for what counts as like crazy is so
Mhm.
off, because before I worked here, I worked at a place called Millhouse Children's Services, and they are they're a program that supports youth with like severe disabilities, but also they have like criminal records and history and stuff. It's like an alternative to like juvenile detention program.
Is it? Sorry.
Yeah, and so I had lots of really, really crazy experiences doing that job. And so when I came here, it's like it's so
Yeah.
easy. Yeah, it's pretty mellow comparatively. So it's like I don't think of stuff that happens here as like
Yeah.
crazy.
Would you want to share some stories from that school? If not, it's okay.
Yeah, so my favorite one, I've told this one before. One of my favorite stories from there was the day that these two kids decided that they were going to run away.
Oh.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, it wasn't a great decision, but it was my third week working as a mental health worker.
Oh my
And
goodness.
so I didn't really know how to handle things yet.
Mhm.
I ended up working at that place for 2 years though, and by the end of it, I was pretty good at my job.
Yeah.
So these kids decided that they were going to run away, and we knew something was up because they were acting all weird.
Yeah.
Like they were
you can-
not,
yeah, you can
they
just
were not
tell.
subtle, right?
Yeah.
Like, teenagers aren't subtle. But you guys think
No.
you're subtle, but you're not subtle. It's very
Yeah,
funny.
like, yeah.
So there was definitely
Yeah.
something up, and then one of the other kids got up, and we were like, how that program is set up basically is we lived in like houses, so it had like full kitchen, like all the bedrooms were like the students' rooms and stuff
Whoa.
like that. And so so it was like a live-in facility and stuff like that, and we
Wow.
would just come in and we would do basically we do 3 shifts in a row, each one 16 hours, right?
Oh
So
my
we get 3
gosh.
days basically on, and then we'd have the rest
Holy
of the week off,
moly.
right?
Yeah.
So this kid who wasn't one of the ones that were planning on running away just got up in the middle of lunch out of nowhere, and he went over to the oven and he triggered the cleaning safety locks on the oven and removed the entire oven door
What?
from the
Oh.
oven.
Just
And then he
stole it?
flipped it over on his back and went running out the front door and off.
What?
And we were like,
What? Like, what was the
What?
point of taking the oven door?
well,
like,
so here's the thing.
was it like
I was staying there with another staff member who was also new, and then we had one experienced staff member. And so this experienced
Tase the
staff member
kids?
was like, you guys stay here, I'm going to go after this guy, right? So he runs off after this kid with the oven door on his back.
do they tase them or something?
No,
Oh,
nothing
okay.
like
They're
that.
students.
Okay, because I
No.
don't know, because that's just like, why else would he need an oven door? Like,
No,
I was
he
just
just
like-
he just went. Well, so you'll see in a second.
okay.
So he goes running off with the oven door, and he just disappears off into the woods, right? And there goes our one experienced staff member chasing off after him, right?
Oh gosh.
And so we're sitting there and we're like, what was that about? And then one of the other kids gets up and he's like, hey, I'm going to run too. So have fun. And he just goes, and he goes out the other door, out the back door, and in a different direction than this other kid with the oven door went.
Oh my
right?
gosh.
And so the other staff member that's with me there was like,
Was that
well, I guess I got to go after him.
yeah.
Right. And so he goes off after this kid. Right. So there's myself and there's 3 other kids in there, and 2 of them
Oh,
were the
no.
ones that were planning on running away. And then
So
there was
the
one
other
other
two
kid that had
just-
no idea what the hell was going on. Right.
Oh my
So
God.
I'm there,
That's crazy.
and these kids come out of their rooms all of a sudden. They have their backpacks on, and they look at me and they go, hey, Mr. Clark. And I go, what's up? And they're like, we're running away. And I went, oh, you shouldn't do that. And they're like, yeah, but here's the deal. Our boy Lizelle here, he's staying. He doesn't even know what's going on, and you can't just leave him alone in the house.
Oh,
And I was
that
like,
sucks.
Oh no. And they
Oh,
were
they
like, yeah, so we're
outsmarted
gonna
you.
go now. And I was like, oh,
So
you're
was
right.
like was
They were totally right too. I couldn't leave a kid alone in the house. So they were like, so we're gonna go. See you later. And I was like, all right. And so as I'm standing there out the front door, just watching them just book it away with their backpacks, I was just like, make good choices.
Like, bye!
There's nothing I
So
could do.
Was the kid at the oven door like just like
A distraction. So he came back.
Oh my god.
He came back like 15 minutes later
He just
with the
did like a
oven door,
circle?
and he walked. Yeah, like he did like a
Did he
big
put the oven
circle,
door back
and he
on?
put the oven door back on, and then sat down at the lunch table
Oh.
and resumed eating his lunch like nothing had happened.
That's crazy. Oh
It
my
was
God.
so funny.
Oh my God,
That-
you do have
Just
a good
imagine
story.
just imagine like the amount of planning that took. Like,
Oh,
okay, guys.
they was genius. Like,
Yeah,
I
like,
couldn't
you're
You're just
deny
standing
it.
there
I was
like,
just like,
what do I even do? Like, do
They
I
got
laugh?
us.
Do I cry? Like, what? Like,
I laughed.
Yeah.
I couldn't help it. I was
Yeah.
like, this is hilarious.
Yeah.
Like,
like
there is literally
so
nothing
what
I can
about the
do.
two
I
kids
have
that
to
did
stay
run
here.
away?
They ran away and they were gone for like a day, and then they
Came
got picked
back.
up in Grass Valley and brought back home.
And
so.
what about the kid that ran in the other direction?
Oh, he came back also in like.
Oh, so
15
they were
minutes,
both just
too.
distractions.
Yeah, they were just totally
They were trying
distractions.
to get
Yeah.
the other
They
so
got everybody out of the house, so that it was just me and this one other kid who was just
Oh
like,
my God. You're like,
I don't know what's going
hap-
on. Yeah, he was sitting there on the couch like watching
Like-
TV, and he didn't react like the whole time until the very end when it was just me and
Oh
him.
my god.
Because I turned and I was like, well, are you planning on going anywhere? And he just was sitting there on the couch. He looks over at me and just goes, nope. All right, man.
All right, man. I guess.
Just imagine if like they're playing like I don't know how they thought that like how I don't know how they got that to work. You know. Like,
they knew the rules. Like
Well, yeah,
they'd seen
'cause-
other kids like try to
Well,
run away and stuff.
yeah,
before,
because
so
they had to wait until it was just the 3 of you, and then like
split everybody up.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
it was
like, that's-
genius.
so-
It was
that's
it was
like-
a
that's a lo-
masterminded
Yeah,
plot.
that's
you know,
that's what
so-
that's
That's
what's a
so
little
smart.
worrying. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
I don't think I would have been able to think of that.
I know. I don't
No,
think I
it
would've
was
been able to
wild.
either.
That's our clip right there.
Excellent.
That's gonna be our clip. Well, you teach English. Do you teach English because you are very passionate in English, or it's just like a hobby you've always been into? Like, what's up with English? Why you like it so much?
So it's kind of like both, I guess, because
Hmm.
like I really always excelled in English in school and in college. I just like I really got it and I really liked it. But also it is like that hobby thing. So I do writing and editing work when I'm not doing teaching work, right? And a lot of that writing and editing like skills goes into how I teach as well. So it kind of all combines together, right? So I have like my hobby writing and publishing that I've done before, like I've published, short stories and
Yeah.
poems and stuff like that. And, I've helped with writing on Dungeons and Dragons stuff, and we
Very
just
cool.
published an adventure module. And so I have like the hobby side, but then I also have like the like academic enjoyment side of it too.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to do like a profession that wasn't like, if teaching and like psychology weren't in the picture, what profession do you think you would have like taken up or like done?
I probably would have gone full on into editing work. I really like it a lot. It's really fun to do editing. I really like helping writers and stuff. And I'm really good at it. So yeah, probably editing would be my second career choice. I do a fair amount of that work outside of school too.
For sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's really cool.
Yeah. This is the question that I'm most excited for to ask to
Okay.
all of our teachers. What were you like in high school?
Basically this, but more dorky.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I remember
pretty much.
the Star Wars video that you showed us in the 9-10 English class.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was me in while I was at Sierra College, so like
Mhm.
right out of high school,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Massive nerd, big old dork.
Are you
into
gonna show
writing.
that to your 9-10 English class this year?
Usually I team it up when there's another teacher that does a video project.
Is it Harper?
And so I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, we do that. Actually, no, I will be showing it this year because in English we're going to be doing the argumentative writing unit coming up next with 9-10, and we have to do. Do you remember Kitten Mittens, the one where you have to create an advertisement?
What is this?
The Kitten
I
Mittens
remember.
advertisement. Oh, you haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
That's right. This will be new. For
So
you.
I'm a grade above Ray, so I have like a good understanding. I remember doing the commercial like advertisement, and I remember I just remember how like frustrating it was, and but it was also a lot of fun. But like honestly, like it's pretty easy. Like you just got to create like a was it like a 3-minute video or
Yeah,
like
you create a 3-minute advertisement that is for a product that you
Yeah.
invent.
As we know, I like video making.
Yeah.
So
and editing. Do you remember Xander and Adam's project? I was the one that
Yes.
recorded that.
Yes.
Yeah. I
Excellent.
remember that. So
just
yeah.
did a video assignment in Harper's class, like last semester. No, earlier this semester.
Nice.
So yeah, I have some experience with that now, so that's good.
Mhm.
So that's gonna be the semester in
Yep.
9-10.
Yeah, that'll be the next major unit.
Spoilers!
After we're done with fairy tales.
Okay, well that's actually really exciting. I'm glad that we get some spoilers.
Mhm.
I also
You heard it here first.
yeah,
On the
you heard it
podcast.
here first.
Yeah.
That's spoilers, exclusive.
Yes.
What friend group do you think you would hang out with? Like you know our campus pretty well.
Oh,
Yeah.
here at Bitney?
Yeah.
Oh, that's hard because even when I was in high school, right, I didn't like just hang out with one group of people.
Mhm.
Like I was the person that was like every lunch I was hanging out with other people. And so like it was cool because like everyone like knew me pretty well in high school, and like I wouldn't like call myself like popular or anything like that, but I was just, I was like well liked,
Had
I
a
was
lot
a
of
chill guy
friends
to hang
around,
out
yeah.
with and stuff. And so yeah, I'd go hang out with whoever. Yeah. I don't think
That's
there's any
so
one.
cool.
This is a good one. It says, "What advice would you give to new teachers starting their career? Like, let's say they start here at Bitney, like with like Mr. Barnum. Like,
Oh man,
like what advice would you have given
new
him?"
teachers starting. So if I was going to give advice about coming here to Bitney specifically to a new teacher, I would tell them that they should work on relationships first before they get too deep into curriculum and academics. I feel like
a good
relationships
answer.
matter more here than at other
Oh, yeah.
schools.
100%.
Absolutely.
our students are more connected with us than any other place that I've ever worked at. And I think that's really, really important. I think that's a huge key to my feeling of being like a successful teacher here, is that I have great relationships with students,
That's
and
awesome.
building the relationships is like number one. Like
For
I
sure.
have seen
Yeah.
new teachers come in and not do that work, and then
Mhm.
they struggle a lot. And
Mhm.
so that's my advice.
That was really good.
Yeah,
That's a
that's
good
really
answer.
good.
I like
Good
that.
answer.
I completely agree though, honestly. I can definitely say that a lot of the teachers here I don't have the strongest relationship with, but I feel like me and you have always gotten along pretty well. So yeah, exactly. Like I feel like definitely focusing on relationships, because since we're a smaller school, you know, like we have more of like the one-on-one focusing. So I think that's actually like really good advice.
Another question that I have is like, what challenges have you faced in your teaching career, and how have you overcome them? I mean, that we did just.
question you would ask us.
Yeah, right. I think
I'm
I
turning it back.
literally asked that
Yes,
question
yes.
as part of the like capstone here. Okay.
Oh, what?
So
It's not like I'm stealing your stuff.
nah. Gosh, challenges.
What are you gonna do? Sue me?
I think my big challenge here at Bitney was getting my curriculum lined up with the population here at Bitney. Like I came in with a lot of stuff that was kind of ready. And I had my first year, my first 2 years really was a lot of me developing uh, kind of my starting units. And then the last 2 years, so my third year and now here in my fourth year, I've been really like redeveloping all of the units and really getting them into better places that works better with the students here. And so I feel way more successful this year in terms of, you know, what I'm teaching and how I'm teaching it and how I'm approaching it, versus my first 2 years where I was really struggling to make my curriculum match up with our students' needs here, because we're a small school. We're one student at a time, and my first 2 years, I built a lot of good relationships, but I felt like my teaching was kind of weak. And now here in my fourth year, I'm finally feeling like my teaching is kind of catching up to the rest of me.
I've definitely noticed the difference too, because sorry, were you gonna say something? When I started here as a freshman, wasn't that like, because second year,
Yeah.
I remember like you were super laid back, you know, like I don't want to be like mean or anything, you know, but like I don't know, your class was probably like the easiest class. I remember it was pretty easy for me in my freshman year. But now definitely like I've definitely like been like, oh, Clark is getting so much more like
Rigorous.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, I was like, why can't he just go back to how he was in freshman year? But no, like no, but
this is better.
yeah, like exactly, like you're definitely improving on your teaching skills, and that's great. Like
college.
yes, exactly. And I've noticed that I'm definitely getting a lot more work done in your class too. A lot of people are.
Mhm.
But no, definitely like I've definitely noticed a difference too, because compared to my first year to now my junior year. Also, I completely forgot to mention I'm a co-host on this podcast.
Oh yeah.
I completely yeah, no, I'm a co-host. I completely forgot to mention. But yeah.
I was gonna say that you take feedback really well, which is something that I think is really, really important as a teacher, because your whole job is kind of reliant on feedback in a way. So you take that really, really well, and I think that's really awesome.
Thanks.
Do you have a question?
Yeah. Let me see here. What is one teaching method you've tried that students responded negatively to?
All right. I can't say that I've had like a method in particular that that students reacted negatively to. I feel like so I do a lot of UDL, which is called Universal Design for Learning. It's like it's like an equitable, very like, again, that one student at a time kind of focus, where if there's like modifications or things that are meant for students with IEPs or 504s, the whole classroom benefits from those modifications, right? So whether it's more time for work or you know, additional types of notes, or how I give out things or read things or whatever, All of those things work not only for students who have those specific accommodations, but also they work for everybody. Like an accommodation for a student with an IEP or a 504 also benefits just the average student in
Yeah,
general.
absolutely.
So I use that a lot, and it's really successful here. So I can't
Mhm.
say there's been like a method that has been like negatively reacted to, but last year we started a book in my 11-12 English class
Mhm.
called The Princess Bride, and great book.
Was this last year, like my sophomore year?
Yeah,
Or
your
okay,
sophomore year.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I was like, I was like,
Yeah,
wait,
not last
yeah,
year.
not
Last year. I
last year,
mean,
like
yeah,
the last school
last
year.
school year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Sorry.
and so we started reading The Princess Bride, and I ended up getting COVID right when we started, so I missed
Uh-oh.
the first like week of that
So
book being taught.
That's rough.
And so when I came back, everybody was lost. Nobody knew what was going on in the book, and they all hated the book. And I tried for an entire second week to like get everybody on board with it, because it's a really funny, like really goofy fantasy
Mhm.
book. It has a great movie that goes with it. And so we were reading this book, and everybody hated it. And I've never had an entire class so unified in their dislike of a book. And I was like, this sucks. I'm not going to have any fun teaching this. Nobody's
Yeah.
going to have any fun learning this. And so
Yeah.
I literally went to the class after that second week was such an abysmal failure. And I went, we're doing something else. We're going to do Shakespeare. And they
Oh.
went, oh, okay. And so we switched over and we did King Lear instead.
Oh, wow.
And everybody loved it. And they
That's
had a
sick.
great time. And I had always been the teacher that in my head I was like, I'm not going to teach Shakespeare. I'm not going to go and do that. I'm going to do other things. I'm going to do,
Not
you
your
know, more
typical
modern
English
stuff.
teacher.
Yeah, I wanted
like-
to like avoid doing
Yeah.
that kind of stuff and do more like modern pieces and multicultural and all these other things, right? But Shakespeare was like kind of a in the back pocket unit that I had ready just in case something happened where I was like, oh, I need to switch units because this one isn't working or whatever. And worked out, and everybody loved it. Now I kind of teach Shakespeare every other year basically because
I
students
think
enjoy
you've
it
taught
so much. So,
Shakespeare a little bit last year in the 910 class, I
Yeah.
think, if I remember correctly.
we did a little tiny bit.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, no, you just don't want to be your typical English teacher.
that's right. Well, I mean, this is
you don't want to be the basic. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
Yes, exactly,
This
exactly.
is a special school. May I borrow
Yes.
the mic?
Mhm.
I was gonna ask about your graphic novel class that unfortunately RIP.
RIP graphic novel class.
High regarded.
Mhm.
Did you start that class when you came here, or was that already something that was kind of set up?
So that's a complicated question. It wasn't an official course like how I did it, but it was regularly taught by the previous English teacher as a intercession course.
Oh.
And then he would also do graphic novel units in his English class. And now that's what I do. But for a little bit there, I was teaching an entire course that was just
It
graphic
was so
novels.
good.
Such a good course. I miss it.
I miss it, dude.
Yep.
Cowboy Bebop for a semester.
Yes. Oh, so much fun.
It was awesome. Okay, I think we're gonna do an outro now because we're pretty much out of time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much for watching. This was Clark. We'll have him back sometime.
It was great to finally be on here. I know I missed the first the first episode. But yeah, I will be on here definitely more often.
Yeah,
and we
100%.
definitely need to bring more people on for
100%.
sure.
Awesome.
Say anything, Clark?
Yeah, thanks you for having me, and I'm really excited to see episodes of this podcast keep going.
Yeah, we're
What a
excited.
cool idea.